Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're listening to this. Welcome to Coffee with Kevin. Coffee with a K, just like Kevin with a K. Yes, this is my coffee, by the way. Mm, mm-mm. I want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week. And I hope you are enjoying a nice cup of hot coffee, hot tea, hot cocoa, maybe even some water or some juice, whatever it is. I want to share this moment with you. Mm. I am the Kevin in Coffee with Kevin and Kevin Martin. I am a mindset coach and a hypnotherapist, if you can believe that. Sometimes I have a hard time believing that. It is December. We're in December. Oh my God, this year has just flown by. And I was saying this in the middle of the year, which just seems like a few weeks ago. This year has flown by like nothing else, and it's just incredible. But we are here. It's December 3rd. December 3rd. It's an incredible, incredible time. What happened on December 3rd? Well, only a few notable things. For you boomers that are listening to me, actually, this was even before my time, but I know this name because it's been around forever. In 1947, a streetcar named Desire opened up on Broadway. In 1947, yes, I'm going to put a little light on. Here we go, a little bit more light. But that's not the big news. The big news, or at least as far as I'm concerned, 1989, Bush and Gorbachev said that the Cold War is coming to an end. And did it ever? Don't we all still have nuclear arms? So I don't know about that. We also have the very first human heart transplant. Believe it or not, 1967. Holy mackerels. And that does happen today, and I'm sure it's a lot better. But as I was growing up, they were still doing pig heart transplants, but they had the very first human one very early, 1967. 1989. 1989. Guess what rolled off the assembly line for the last time? Let me give you a let me give So yeah, this came off the line. This came off the line. What?
That whole piece with the car, shut it off completely.
Okay.
Didn't hear anything.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, a little technical advice. I guess you didn't hear anything about the AMC Peso when I showed it. That rolling fishbowl is what it was called. For some reason, you don't hear me when I get off the screen, even though I'm seeing my mic continuing to go. Interesting, interesting stuff. Anyway, anyway, what are we talking about today? Oh, one last thing. One last thing. 1992. The first SMS message was sent. Yeah, all those things we get barraged with all day long on our phones, all these text messages. Um, got a bunch right here. All those things. The very first one was 1992. It was sent from a computer to a Vodafone network to somebody's actual phone on the network, and got the first message. And now it's part of our daily life. It's part of our daily life. So yeah, that's this day in history. This day in history. Let's see. I'm gonna look at my chats. Of course, I'm gonna see Brenda. Brenda, good morning. Brenda just knocked on my door, so she's not far away. um, this day in history was a an interesting day. I couldn't find too many birthdays of people that names that I knew that were famous or anything like that, but I'm sure there are. And if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. Okay, what else today? Today we got a kind of a theme of focus. All of last month, the whole theme, if you were listening into any of them, was all about gratitude. Last month was the National Gratitude Month in November. And it was great because Thanksgiving is part of that. And Thanksgiving is a time for giving thanks. We use the celebration, the original celebration storyline, which may or may not be true. I know some Native Americans that do not celebrate Thanksgiving as the rest of us do. But we use that storyline for it. But what Thanksgiving is really all about in the actual storyline was that, we got a beautiful harvest and we're giving thanks. So today we don't do harvest. Well, not all of us, but we are giving thanks and giving thanks for the ringers on our phone once in a while too. The ringers that alert us for phone calls or alert us for waking up in the morning like Mayan does every morning. I haven't had an alarm clock in 10 years. I'm so used to setting the phone and using the phone, and it works easy. We've got a lot of technology. We've got a lot of technology in our life, a lot of conveniences in our life, and you know how they all came about? When a single person or a group of people were focused. We're focused on something, an idea, a, a specific project, and they were able to get it done. And I think in these days, it's hard to get focused. It's hard to get focused because we have so many distractions, like our phones. We have so many distractions around us. I spend 5 to 10 minutes each morning going through my email and my junk email. I go through my junk email because once in a while, a good, important email slips through. When I have people mailing me that haven't mailed me before, but they're looking for services or whatever it is, they slip through. So I spend a lot of time on that's a distraction, and I get distracted during the day, thinking, okay, I get an alert, something came in, I go check it out, I go check that out. It's hard to focus. It truly, truly is. And so today is about focus, and I've got um, couple of quotes here for focus. This one says, "You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus." I love that because that brings about a lot of different things. When your imagination is out of focus, what does that mean? That means that your inner mind, your subconscious, has got all sorts of things going on, and I can't prioritize because it wants to let you know a lot of different things. And you ever have that overwhelm in your head, that we call that monkey brain sometimes, because you have all these monkeys jumping around trying to get your attention, and you can't focus on what you want to focus on. And so sometimes that's the thing, when your imagination is out of focus, when your imagination, or when you just can't get an idea, when you just can't think of something and you're trying to really focus on an idea or something that you really need to give some thought, and you can't. It's kind of like there's a word we have, it's called brain fog as well, and that's a little bit with your imagination out of focus. Sometimes that's a physical problem that is caused by medications or other things, but a lot of times we have brain fog because we got so much going on in our inner mind. This one I particularly like. Focus is about deciding what things you're not going to do. I like that. This is when you have so many things externally going on, and you have to really say, okay, what's important? What's important and what's not important? It's get that not important out of the way. Yeah, this has a lot to do with prioritization and organization. I have a lot of clients that deal with that, and I have myself that deals with that. Sometimes you got a lot of things. I got a list up here in front of me, and I list help me, but not all the time. This list up here hasn't been updated in a couple weeks, and sometimes you look at your list and you say, okay, what's the priority? What's the biggest bang for the buck? Or, as I like to tell my coaching clients, what will drive the needle to move you forward? All right. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you've got a business, what's going to drive the needle for your business to move it forward, or you just got some things that you've been wanting to do some things around the house, or some things with the family, some things in your health life. Maybe what's the major priority? What's the thing that's going to move that needle to move you forward? And in finding that, you find the things that you can actually just say you're not going to do. You're out of there. You're out of there. Well, you put them on a shelf, because basically, if they're in your list and you haven't done them for a while, they're on the shelf. But the problem is, if your list is too big, you've got that overwhelm, and you start thinking about all those things, even those things that you're probably not going to do for months, if at all. But they're part of that, and they become part of that monkey brain and get you. So, how do you focus? How do you focus? All right, hold on. Jay Bancroft, well, welcome, welcome. Let's discuss how to raise that awareness with others who might not. Naturally waking up. Hi, Kevin. Just found you. Been a while since we spoke. And Jay, it's been a long time since we spoke. So welcome, welcome to Coffee with Kevin. Um, yeah, yeah. How do you get that focus? All right. And first of all, there's a part of your brain that has focus, that determines what to focus on. And the more you think about something, the more that's going to be your focus. So I would say, first of all, determine what's the priority, what's the big things that got to get done. And I know there's going to be these little emergencies that come in during the day, and they always do. Um, and sometimes you really have to address them, but sometimes you think you have to address them. You look at them and say, okay, can I just push this aside for a little while? Can I push that aside for a little while? Look at your list and get the top three. I won't ask you for the top one. Ask you for the top three. And then look at the top three and say, which one's the most important for you to focus on now, today, next couple of days? You can actually bring in other things. You're not going to focus for 12 hours straight, but you're going to focus most of your day. You'll go in and out of that focus, but you determine what you want to do. You determine what's the most important thing, and then put that most important thing in your mind. Think about how it's going to be, how you're going to get through it, how you're going to do it, what it's going to be when it's done. That's an important thing for you. When you start thinking about what it's going to be like when it's done, and that's something I worked all my clients through, what it's going to be like when it's done, because your mind gets that picture. And if you focus a lot on that, if you can think, imagine a lot on that, you'll start to put the focus, in your mind will start to go to work for you and keeping the focus on it. So that's a little bit about it. Most of the time when we don't have focus, it's because we have disorganization. Now you might say, Kevin, my desk is clean. I can't say that, by the way. My desk is cleaner than it has been, but it's not clean. It's got stuff on it. Um, and you have all that disorganization outside, externally in your life. but it's the disorganization internally in your life. It's when there's chaos, when there's disorganization in your head, that's when you can't focus. So the thing is, prioritization needs to be there. Prioritization needs to be there. By the way, how to start this? Everything that you've been thinking about for the last couple of weeks that you want to get done, list them all. List them all. And just go ahead and sit down and say, okay, what do I need to get done? What have I been wanting to get done? What haven't I got done for a long time? List them all on a page. That's the start. That's the start. Once you have the list, once you've gotten through it, you go through and say, okay, what's the most urgent? What's the biggest bang for the buck? Right? So the most urgent and the biggest bang for the buck may be two different things and may be the same thing. Okay. And then once you get that list down and you push the others aside, you could even rewrite your list if you want so you get those others out of your eyesight. Then say, okay, what is really the most important? What's going to move the needle for me? What's going to move the needle for me? And what, for those most urgent, what can I not push aside for a little while? What needs to be done today, this moment, this hour, whatever it is, you know, and hope maybe they're the same, maybe they're not. Get the most urgent ones, the ones you come in your mind and the most urgent have to be, get them out of the way. But keep the others there and write a list for you. Now you got a smaller list, a much smaller list. Okay, and maybe if the ones that are going to move the needle are big, you definitely have to chunk them down. Chunking down doesn't mean chunking doesn't mean throwing up. Chunking means just breaking it up. Chunk down, break it up into smaller pieces. And then out of the small pieces, prioritize which has to go first. This is actually creating organization in your mind, which will allow you to focus more. That has been it. The most important thing is to be ready for Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock with Kevin Martin. I love that. Thank you, Larry. I'm going to show that, you know, Larry's got the prioritization right here. The most important thing is to be ready for Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with Coffee with Kevin. Yeah, add to your list, definitely. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that, my friend. So, yeah, it starts with organization in your head. By the way, that organization in your mind, organization in your head will spill out eventually to organization outside of you, right? I've worked with hoarders before. I'm going to be working with another hoarder, and the thing with these people most of the time is it starts here. It starts here, and then it manifests outside of them. So start getting more focus. What things are important to you? Maybe writing down something that you're gonna look at in the morning and the evening is this question: what is most important for me to do? All right, with that, it is wonderful. I love the start of December. I don't like the fact it's December already. This year has flown by much too quick for me. But I love that it's the start of December. It's a wonderful month. It's the end of the year. It's the time we start thinking about what we want to get done for the next year. And that's why I started off with this focus, because that's part of what we want. That's part of figuring out what we want to do for the next year. And I plan on helping everyone that listens to have the best year of their life next year when it comes to getting things accomplished, when it comes to bringing joy and happiness into your life. That's even more important than getting things accomplished. But I want it to be the best for everyone. All right, until next week, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful day, incredible week. And as usual, you know from me by now, It's not me wishing you that. It's you choosing to have it. It's you making that choice that you want to have it and you're going to have it. Take care, and I will see you next week.